waiting on a couple people to join if they do, and go from there. Talk all about fiber. Anyone? Amy, you're just getting started. How are you feeling?
I'm pretty sore from my first lower body workout. So that was good. I got one of those Theragun massagers, and I've been just taking that on my
your
glutes and everything. Yeah. So that was good. I'm having a really stressful morning. I'm starting a new video visits from home, and I haven't done it before, and it's really stressing me out. So I'm trying to get food in and water in, and everything's super crazy right now. And so I'm trying to figure it out. So I might jump off the call real quick, but
yeah, you're good. If you need to just, take your camera off or whatever, and this will be recorded too. So you can always listen to it on your own time as well.
Perfect.
Okay, well, I will just go ahead and kind of get started. I talk about fiber a lot with you guys on your weekly check-ins and those types of things. So a lot of this probably isn't new. It might be kind of newer to Amy and new clients, but you might be surprised that you know a lot of this already. And hopefully if you have any questions, then I can answer them. I'm gonna do share screen here, and every time I forget how to do this. So share, here we go. Nope, view. I should really, here we go. Oh, it's because I'm on my, hold on here. Here we go, okay. Meeting. Guys, start share, there we go. Okay. Can you guys see my screen? Yeah, okay. Okay, I'm gonna make that small for a minute. Go to present, and then I'll bring it up so I can see you guys. Okay, my super basic PowerPoints that I do, just all black and white for you guys. Just so you have something to kind of read and you're not just listening to me talk. Okay, there we go. All right, so importance of fiber. So I have a 2017 study reference, but there are so many studies. If you go on PubMed and type in fiber, you can read for days on the benefits of fiber intake. But specifically, here we go. There we go. Let me move you guys down here. Okay, so this study referenced that fiber directly influences our gut microbes. So fiber is good for so many aspects of our health, but specifically in our gut. A fiber-dense diet feeds and allows our good bacteria to thrive within our gut. So for digestion, for gut health, it's very important. The more microbes we have in our intestines, the thicker our mucus wall. And the mucus barrier lowers inflammation throughout our body, and the high levels of bacteria aid in better digestion. So a fiber-dense diet is linked to appetite control, which if you've been tracking your fiber for a while now, you may have noticed that already, and blood sugar regulation. So you're gonna feel fuller longer, more content, have fewer cravings. Fiber slows down the digestive process, meaning it takes longer for our body to break down carbohydrates into glucose, which means more steady energy more steady blood sugar levels, and then more sustained steady energy throughout the day. So not so much of that crash that you feel sometimes after eating. Like think of, drinking juice. That's a good example of something that's a carbohydrate with zero fiber, how you're gonna crash typically after something like that. Whereas if you had something like beans that are gonna be high in soluble and insoluble fiber, you're gonna feel a much more steady, and also you're gonna feel way more full, way more content, and just more steady overall energy levels. So fiber's been associated, kind of just in more specifically talking about reducing inflammation. How that works is fiber has been associated with reducing blood levels of C-reactive protein. And C-reactive protein is an indicator of systemic inflammation. So if you're feeling really inflamed in general, then look into increasing your fiber intake. What is fiber? So fiber is a type of carbohydrate that our body does not digest. Most carbs are broken down into sugar molecules. Fiber cannot be broken down and instead passes through the body undigested. So fiber helps regulate, like I spoke of already, the body's use of sugars and keep you feeling full, which both are obviously huge gains if you're in a calorie deficit. If you're in a calorie surplus, you might need to titrate your fiber down a little bit so you're not just so full. But most of us can benefit by having a large amount of fiber in our diet, just keeping us satiated throughout the day. Fiber also, like I spoke of earlier, promotes a healthy gut, being able to break down foods you eat for vital nutrients and have regular bowel movements. The fiber we eat feeds billions of bacteria in our gut. I think we have about 3 pounds of bacteria in our gut. And, you know, our gut bacteria has been shown to correlate to everything, you know, from mood to just our digestion to our immune system. So we're learning so much more every single day about what our gut bacteria is doing. And fiber is going to help support the good bacteria in our gut. So a happy gut is a healthy body. And keeping our gut happy is important for our immune system and then overall physical and mental health. So research has shown that a low fiber diet, less than 15 grams per day, which I think if I'm not paying attention, and now I just intuitively am paying attention to my fiber intake. But before, when I was very first starting to track my fiber intake and have a fiber goal, if it wasn't on my mind, like I wasn't specifically trying to hit fiber goals, I naturally land right about that 15 grams of fiber per day. So which is probably the case for most Americans or most people in the world. And I would say in that 10 to 15 gram range. And that leads to increased inflammation, you know, known as leaky gut syndrome. You've probably heard of that. Basically, where we don't have those nice tight junctions in our intestines. Nutrients are able to kind of not be absorbed and leak. That's like the worst term, but basically get through in that sense. So higher blood sugar levels as well are correlated to a low fiber diet, and then an increase in body fat. And I think a lot of that just comes from we aren't full when we're eating a low fiber diet. So we're going to eat more food to fill up in that way. And then having unstable blood sugar levels can affect that as well. So what is the optimal goal for fiber intake? I prefer to use the 15 grams per 1,000 calories because that, you know, I think a lot of my female clients are eating 2,000 calories or more at some point. So that's going to be more than the recommended daily allowance of 25 grams per day for a female and 35 grams for a male. But those are kind of some good general guidelines. So no matter where you're at on your calorie intake, shooting for 25 grams or more per day. And then if you are at 2,000 calories, shooting to get that 30 plus range on your fiber. And it's kind of one of those things where everybody sort of has a different sweet spot. I have some clients that thrive, like especially my clients that are going to be more plant-based, they do really well on 50 to 60 grams of fiber a day, maybe even up to 70, which seems insane. Where I would have other clients, oh, hold on, I think I have some people. Oh no, we're good. Okay. I have other clients that feel best on like 30 to 40 grams of fiber per day. So sorry guys, I don't know what I did here. Okay, well, let me minimize this. You are going to, there we go. Oh, no, I did have someone trying to join. There we go. You'd think I would be a pro at this by now. So you are going to be the one that can kind of tell what's going to be the best amount of fiber for you. If you're feeling really gassy or bloated, you may be eating too much fiber, or you may not be getting a good blend of soluble and insoluble fiber. So I'll talk about that a little bit more here. Next, so which types, there we go, of fiber should I eat? The answer to that is you want to have a good blend of soluble and insoluble fibers in your diet, as well as you would want to have a good blend of amino acids in your diet and a good blend of fats in your diet. You wouldn't want to just eat saturated fats or, you know, just eat just kind of in that sense, we want to have a good amount of variety in our diet and our intake. And that's going to be where we feel the best. So I'll talk through these and you can kind of troubleshoot your own maybe digestion, and this will give you a little bit better idea on how to do that. So soluble fiber is what is going to absorb water to form a gel-like substance in the digestive tract. And so soluble fiber absorbs in water with water. So that's where it will be really important to make sure you're drinking lots of water when you're eating a high fiber diet. Those are going to go hand in hand, and that's why. Top sources of soluble fiber include oat bran, barley, nuts, seeds, beans, lentils, peas, some fruits and vegetables. Soluble fiber is going to help soften your stools so it can go through the digestive tract more easily, and also bind to substances like cholesterol and sugar, preventing or slowing absorption in the blood. So that's where it's going to help keep our blood sugar levels stable. And regulating blood sugar and protecting against heart disease by lowering blood cholesterol. Increases the population of good bacteria, which is linked to increased immunity, is anti-inflammatory, and increases your mood. So those are all kind of the benefits of soluble fiber. And then on insoluble fiber, this would be the tough matter found in whole grains, nuts, fruits, and veggies. It does not dissolve in water. It isn't broken down by the gut or absorbed by the bloodstream, and it remains pretty much intact. As you eat it is how it comes out. So like flax seeds would be a good example of that. Chia seeds would be a good example of soluble fiber. As you know, when you mix it with water, you can see it creating that gel-like substance, right? So that's what it's doing in your body as well. Your insoluble fiber is going to add bulk to your stool and appears to help food pass more quickly through the stomach and the intestine. So that's going to help with keeping you regular and prevents constipation, also help with bloating. So if you're eating a lot of fiber and you're noticing, how do I get back? Here we go. If you're eating a lot of fiber and you're noticing you're feeling really bloated and gassy, you're probably eating a little too much soluble fiber, and could benefit from increasing your insoluble fiber. So like banana, brown rice, those are going to be good options for insoluble fiber. Those are going to help move things through. Insoluble fiber lowers the risk of diverticular disease, and then the top sources include wheat bran, beans, lentils, whole grains, and flax seeds. So you'll notice beans and lentils are on both. They're like an amazing food. Yeah, beans are very underrated, I feel like. Beans and lentils, they're going to be so good for insoluble and soluble fiber as well as protein. So those are ones to include very regularly in your diet. So what about fiber supplements? I have to mention this with clients usually right out the gate, because I'll give them a fiber goal and they're like, oh, perfect, I'm taking a fiber supplement, I'm hitting that goal, no problem. So why can't we take fiber supplements? Like, well, we can, but why would we not take them over eating fiber rich foods, right? It's kind of, so it's unlike protein. Obviously, you know, I love for clients to have a wide variety of protein intake too, but I'm fine with you taking a protein supplement. Fiber isn't quite the same way. So there's lots of fiber supplements on the market, but most do not contain the added vitamins and minerals, including vitamin B and iron found in high fiber rich foods. And they might also not be easily or fully absorbed by the body. So my rule of thumb with fiber supplements is, if you want to take one and you feel good taking one, then go ahead, but on your food, I still want you hitting your minimum fiber goals with food. And if you're noticing you're really gassy, most of my clients that try fiber supplements know that they feel really gassy and bloated. So that's typically why I don't recommend them. I'd rather you just saved your money and spent it on other things like new workout equipment instead, or good food. So good sources of fiber. I'll send you guys this list too. And there's way more good sources of fiber, but this list contains, I think each of these contains 20% of your daily recommended or more value. So as you can see, lots of beans, peas, lentils, beans, those are going to be huge. Sweet potatoes are great, pears, peas again, peas, beans, lentils, all of those are going to have fiber as well as protein. Bulgur wheat, raspberries are really good. I love blackberries too. Prunes, figs, oat bran, pumpkin, spinach, cereals maybe that are going to be enriched with fiber, raw almonds, any fruit with the skin on, and bananas, and then chia seeds. So those are all really great options of fiber. You may have some that you're including in your diet that aren't on this list that are still great. Those are just kind of big, like bang for your buck options. And then tips for increasing fiber intake. Here's just kind of like a simple guideline. Picking products that have whole grains closer to the start of their ingredient list if you're looking for like a boxed item. Choosing foods naturally rich in fiber over supplements. Eating beans, peas, or lentils on a daily basis. I try to have beans twice a day, kind of as usually I'll mix in chickpeas with my salads, and then I'll mix in like beans with other dishes. Chickpeas are also great in soup too. And then eating at least one food daily that contains the 20%. So one of those on that list, including one of those every day, is going to help just really increase your fiber intake. Consuming fruits and vegetables with their skins or peels intact when possible. Looking up the best ways to eat specific foods. So obviously the fiber is going to change depending on how you cook the food. So with your veggies, you can look that up and brainstorm different ideas just to increase your fiber intake in that way. Picking unrefined grain and cereal products to include in your diet. Like Fiber One cereal is obviously super high in fiber, but there's quite a few options out there now. Picking whole fruits and vegetables rather than juices. That's kind of an obvious one. Adding beans, peas, and lentils to soups and salad. Adding more beans, peas, or lentils than meat. So I have really changed that up over the last year or two. I think coming from 10 years ago when I very first was learning what I could about food. Of course, I have a CrossFit background in the paleo diet. Like that's really preached within the CrossFit space. So I eliminated pretty much all legumes from my diet. And the more I learned, like as I, kind of learned throughout the years, was just how important fiber is, and adding beans back into my diet. It's been really cool to just see the benefit of that. And I feel so much better. But I think for that reason, I don't always think to add them. So I've been getting way more creative with how to add beans, peas, and lentils. And I like having a good variety of animal protein and plant protein. So I've been really prioritizing having as much plant protein in my diet as possible. For that reason, because it's going to be high in fiber. So when you are making your dishes, like having an even amount of plant protein and animal protein is going to just help you naturally hit your fiber. So that's kind of on that one, just having more plant-based protein. Making dips or spreads out of chickpeas, obviously like hummus is the best thing ever. That's an option. Peas, lentils, or other pulses. Eating unsalted nuts, seeds, or dry fruits as a snack, or putting them over your salads. I actually added that one to the bottom. Let's see. Starting the day with whole grain. Breakfast options if you do feel good eating grains. Picking brown rice over the white variety. And then that last one that you can't really see, I kind of talked about sprinkling seeds over cereal, salads, or yogurt. That's my favorite way to get in. I have like chia seeds pretty much every day and just sprinkle them over my yogurt. It's really good. Those are also really yummy in a protein shake if you want to thicken it up. Chia seeds and banana combined, like you're getting a great amount of fiber in your protein shake. And then I'm gonna figure this out here, guys. There we go. Oh, I think that might be the, yeah. Okay, so any questions on fiber intake, or anything new that maybe you learned? I'm happy to send out this PDF too, so you guys can refer to it if you want. Or any questions, anything that's new to you, or also just if you have any favorite high fiber foods, feel free to share them.
I don't know. So I follow quite a few people on Instagram, and there was, I think it's like Dr. Russo, and I think recently he posted something, I'll have to go back and look, talking
Yeah.
about fiber, but I think he had said, everyone's always like, increase your fiber, but you could have some gut issues that it's actually not good to eat that much fiber. I'll
Hmm.
have to go back and look because I should have looked at it more because I was just
Yeah.
like, what would those signs be, besides
Let
like
me
the gas
know.
and bloating?
And I think that kind of probably, I mean, I'd have to see what he's posting, but
Yeah.
that kind of goes along the lines of like, don't just throw a probiotic at it.
Right.
Probiotic. I think I just said probiotic. Don't just throw a probiotic at something, especially if somebody is having GI issues, because we don't want to throw more bacteria on top of bad bacteria and bacterial issues. So if you are having like digestive issues, if you're feeling, super bloated, super gassy, having like maybe you're not having regular bowel movements, or maybe you're having a lot of bowel movements and they're not like solid. And so all of those things are going to play into your digestive gut health. So that's why I ask every week on your check-ins, like, how's your digestion? And if you are telling me something, then that's kind of where we'll maybe troubleshoot that a little bit more. But drinking water, getting in your walking, and then in keeping your fiber intake up are sort of like the foundations for a healthy gut. And then beyond that, if you're having issues, then that's where we'll look at, okay, what's your soluble and insoluble fiber ratios? Like, how are we looking at? You might just be way off and eating too much soluble fiber, and that's going to cause you to be gassy and like constipated. Whereas that insoluble fiber is going to help move things through. So we might just need to play with your ratios.
Okay.
And then beyond that, if you are having issues, then, I have a questionnaire that I can send to clients to kind of see like which categories are you having issues. And then based off of that, we can troubleshoot it a little bit more specific to you. Obviously, stress is going to play into your gut as well. So that's a big one too. If you're really, really stressed, then that's going to affect your digestion big time. So those pieces all play in. And then from there, if somebody is having more constant like issues like that, then doing a GI map can be really helpful as well. And that's going to be just like way more detailed of what your kind of everything that's going on in your gut. And that's where you can see like, do you have a viral infection? Do you have a bacterial infection? Do we need to do some maybe like an antiviral or antifungal or those types of things to eliminate the bad bacteria and things going on, and then and then couple that maybe with the food elimination diet. You might have some food intolerances going on that are causing inflammation. So a lot of times if you work with a GI specialist, that's where I would typically refer out. Like, I can give you some recommendations, but that's where I would prefer to work with the GI specialist for my clients that are having more serious issues. And they will typically, that's like introduce, some kind of antifungal, antiviral, antibacterial, different agents through essential oils or different things like that. And then that's typically coupled with some form of fasting. That can be a good way to sort of reset things too. A lot of GI specialists will have people do a fast, and that's why it kind of gives your digestive tract a chance to reset. So if that can be something that you can try if you are having digestive issues, is doing like intermittent fasting, and see if maybe just having a little bit more rest for your GI tract is going to help you, or even like a 1 or 2 day water only fast. And then moving into from there, different types of elimination diet. So like a low FODMAP would be the least restrictive option. You're going to eliminate kind of all of the foods that are going to naturally give people issues, but you're going to still be able to include quite a bit in your diet. And then moving kind of down that list to like a paleo diet would be a little bit more restrictive. And then on to probably the most restrictive would be the autoimmune paleo diet. So that's going to be for someone, and kind of with, that's a good question with that. Like, I always want to do the easiest option first. So I wouldn't say, okay, let's go to if you're having some digestive issues, I wouldn't ever say like, okay, let's eliminate gluten and dairy, go to autoimmune paleo diet. That's going to be really hard for someone to follow, because with gut protocols, it's not like macros where you can have a couple rough days and get back on track. Like, you have to do it every single day if you're eliminating certain foods, and then you reintroduce those foods. And that's where you would reintroduce like a probiotic and some things like glutamine is really good for rebuilding. That's something that you could incorporate at any time, but a probiotic is one of those things that you want to wait and make sure that things have kind of reset in that sense before you introduce just whatever probiotics. And there's a lot of different strains too, so they're all going to affect us differently. So yeah, that's a good question. And gut health is something that is so fascinating, and there's just so much we don't know and that we're learning every day. So what we know now could be different in 6 months, but that's kind of just the basics of sort of how I would troubleshoot digestion into, you know, if there were more serious gut issues, kind of where you would go from there on that. But initially it's all, you know, you can accomplish a lot with lifestyle before it gets serious. Like that's why just keeping an eye on things, making sure we are doing what we can to manage stress, you know, get your walking in, water, fiber, all of those things are going to help with digestion big time. Yeah, any more questions kind of on that, or on fiber specifically, or on anything? We have a couple more minutes here. Anyone have a favorite high fiber food that they love to include every day? Mine are chia seeds, like I said, as well as beans, obviously. Chickpeas are a big favorite of mine. I love refried pinto beans. So those are like, if I can include those, I will. But otherwise, I have mentioned before the Philos brand. For if you guys need something fast, especially so many of you guys are working and busy. So I think it's worth the money. I think it's 2 for $5 or 2 for $4 for the Philos packages at Whole Foods, but I get them on Amazon too. I don't live that close to Whole Foods. And they have, and they're gonna sell them on their website soon. I asked, but not yet. So they have Cuban black beans, their pinto beans I love. They have a lentils option that is really, really good too. They have a few different options, and I'll usually use like a third of a bag and just throw it on my plate, cold or hot, whatever, and they taste really good. And it's just like an easy way for me to get in fiber that is yummy and flavored. Yeah, Mara, you've tried those. Yes, they're just like, I don't know, it's they're so good. I never thought I'd be buying bulk packages of beans, but here we are. So yeah, they get me excited. And then chia seeds, hemp seeds don't have as much fiber, but those are good for protein also. So I usually mix those. And then berries are a big one for me that I have a lot of: blackberries, raspberries, and sweet potatoes. Those are kind of my go-to favorites. But yeah, anyone have any questions? Does everyone feel like confident with their fiber intake? Do you have trouble hitting it? That's kind of one of those things where I recommend pre-logging or looking. Oh, bananas are another one I do a lot of. Looking at the list of high fiber foods and picking out like 5 to 10 that you know you like, and then just incorporating those into your diet is kind of an easy way to do that, to get that in. Cool. Well, thanks for joining, guys. And if you do have any, just kind of based off of Jen's comment, if you do have any digestive concerns or questions, definitely shoot me a message and let me know so I can be aware of those. A lot of times people just are like, yeah, digestion's good, but maybe it's not good. So that's one of those topics that's like never TMI. I need to hear about it. Tell me, how's your poop? Just let me know, because that's important. Just with eliminating toxins, with making sure hormones are balanced, all the things. So keep me updated on that and let me know if you have any questions on that. And thanks for joining, guys. Okay, I hope you guys have a good day.
Great. Thank you.
I'll post this probably on the group so you guys have it there. Okay, see you later.